Madam Deputy President, I move item number 2883 standing in my name. And I'm happy to do my bit this evening, Madam Deputy President, to bring everyone together, because if there's one thing that we can all get behind on Private Members' Day, then surely it is the Men's Government's initiative to put a cap on toll roads. That must be the thing that will bring us all together on Private Members' Day. Since the $60 cap was introduced 2 years ago, more than $255 million has been returned to the bank accounts of New South Wales motorists, with an average payout of $321. Madam Deputy President, the reason we put this cap in place is that we understand the cost of living pressures facing New South Wales families. And for families in Western Sydney, the cost of tolls can be a significant burden. And it's one that families in many other parts of Sydney don't have to bear to the same degree that we do, because they either don't have to use toll roads or they have better access to public transport. And as a resident of Western Sydney myself, Madam Deputy President, I can vouch for it. I know what it's like, and it's not just radial trips into the city. It can be hard getting anywhere without having to use some part of the spider's web of toll roads that extend right across the region. Every time you hear that beeping sound, that is a toll company chomping into your wallet. Every time you drive to work, chomp. Every time you take the kids to soccer, chomp. Every time you go to visit a family member in another part of town, chomp, 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 chomp. Just like an aggro Pac-Man chomping into your wallet at every turn, Madam Deputy President, and every bite leaving a bigger and bigger hole in your finances. And when you add up the cumulative cost of petrol, parking and tolls, the impact can be crippling. When people from my neck of the woods are spending between 10 and 20% of their income on tolls, it's like paying rent on 2 houses or carrying a second mortgage. The relentless tolling makes it hard for people to make ends meet, but the Men's Government's toll cap is making a genuine difference. Now, once you've reached your toll cap and drive on the M2 or the M4 or the M5 or the M7 or West Connects or North Connects, you don't get the same sense of beep anxiety, because from that point on, it becomes the sound of a toll-free trip. That's what it is. And Madam Deputy President, under the Coalition, Sydney became the most tolled city on earth. The Coalition weren't just addicted to tolling roads, they were addicted to funneling more and more traffic onto those roads and milking as much money as they possibly could from motorists. But I'll give the Coalition something, Madam Deputy President. I'll give them credit for something. Handing over control of vital transport arteries to private companies was a terrible plan, but at least it was a plan. At least it was a plan. And if there is anything worse than having a plan...
A point of order has been taken. Please stop the clock. Please stop the clock.
The Honourable Bob Nanva mid-flight, but I'm finding it difficult to hear his chomping with the constant interjections from the last remaining member of the opposition in the chamber. I know the opposition are all at... Oh, sorry, there you are. You were so quiet, I didn't notice you over there, Chris Rath, but I know the opposition are all at a fundraiser and too busy to come and be at the Parliament to listen to this contribution about toll roads, but if the Honourable Member could desist from her interjections so I can listen to the Honourable Bob Nanva chomp away.
I would ask that the Honourable Jackie Monroe do keep down her interjections so that we can hear the rest of the Honourable Bob Nanva in relative silence.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Look, I will give them credit. As bad as flogging off vital transport arteries was, at least it was a plan. And the ridiculous thing is, if there is anything worse than having a plan to privatise all the major roads in Western Sydney, it's not having a plan for meeting the needs of people in Western Sydney at all. What is the opposition's plan, Madam Deputy President? I'm going to quote from the Sydney Morning Herald from May 2022, where the Shadow Minister, the now Shadow Minister and then Minister for Roads, Ms Ward, said, "There are no quick fixes to this. We can't keep kicking it into the long grass. We can't be afraid of reform." And she was, of course, correct, Madam Deputy President. There are no quick fixes and we can't be afraid of reform. But they've had 4 years 4 years and their policy is still in the long grass. 4 years and we still don't know if they support
Order.
the toll cap or not. 4 years. So, Madam Deputy President, 4 years and we still don't know if they're more interested in protecting Western Sydney families or adding to the profit margins of private infrastructure companies. I will concede that 4 years to not develop a policy is certainly not a quick fix. It's not even a slow fix. Madam Deputy President, unwinding the toll road mess left behind by our predecessors wasn't easy. We have had to make some tough decisions. I congratulate Minister Graham for doing the heavy lifting and for finding a way through the maze of contracts that were left behind with the private road operators. He's worked through the details, he's delivered his promise, and we've put an end to toll mania.
Further speakers?